Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to talk about something subtle, something that hides in the background of everyday life, but can have a powerful impact, especially for those living with OCD. We're not talking about the big, obvious triggers. Nope. We're diving deep into the small things. The little things that you might not even realize are stirring up anxiety, obsessions, or compulsions. Sound familiar? If it does, you're not alone. Let's explore this together. Let's start with something simple: unread notifications. You know, that little red bubble that pops up on your phone, showing you there's a message, an email, or a to-do you haven't checked. For many, it's a mild nuisance. But for someone with OCD, that tiny red can feel like a flashing alarm that needs to be addressed right away. Leaving it unchecked might trigger discomfort, anxiety, or even panic. Why? Because that little number is a symbol of unfinished business, and OCD doesn't like things left unresolved. Ever felt like you had to clear those notifications before you could relax? Now imagine walking into your room and noticing a photo frame that's tilted ever so slightly. Not a big deal, right? But for someone with OCD, that tiny imperfection can feel loud. Like something is just off. That misaligned frame can hijack your focus, stir up restlessness, and trigger the urge to fix it over and over, even if it was already straight. It's not just about aesthetics. It's about the internal sense of harmony being disrupted. Have you ever spent way too long trying to get something to feel just right? Let's say you usually take the same route to work. One day, there's a detour, and you have to go a different way. For someone without OCD, this might be a mild inconvenience. But for someone with OCD, this tiny change can feel like the day is already ruined. The disruption triggers anxiety, overthinking, or even a sense of dread that something bad will happen. Why? Because OCD thrives on predictability and hates uncertainty. Have you ever felt your whole day thrown off by just one small change? Sometimes it's not even about what people do, but about what they say. Some words might just feel wrong. Maybe someone says sure instead of yes, or writes okay instead of okay, and it sends your brain into overdrive. It's not that the word is offensive or confusing, it's just off. And it can trigger an obsessive loop of thinking, rereading, or even needing to say it again the right way. Ever found yourself rewriting a simple sentence multiple times until it feels right? For people dealing with contamination-related OCD, it's not always about visible mess. Sometimes it's a feeling, like I touched something that feels dirty, even if it looks perfectly clean. Or I was near someone who might be sick, and now your whole body feels contaminated. This can lead to repeated hand washing, clothes changing, or avoiding people and places. Just because of a feeling. Have you ever had that sensation where everything looks fine, but feels wrong? OCD doesn't only mess with actions, it hijacks your mind too. You could be in the middle of reading and suddenly feel like you didn't really absorb the sentence. So, you read it again. And again. And again. It's not about understanding the content. It's about getting a complete feeling, like the thought fully landed in your brain. Ever felt stuck in a mental loop because something didn't quite click? You tap your right hand against the table and suddenly feel the need to tap your left hand to make it even. This urge might seem strange to others, but for someone with OCD, symmetry brings relief. It restores balance. It stops the discomfort. Even something as small as how you step, left foot first or right, can become a mental battle. Ever caught yourself trying to balance out your actions? OCD loves to plant seeds of doubt. Small questions like, what if I forgot to lock the door? Or what if I accidentally offended someone? Or what if I said the wrong thing? And these questions don't just come once. They replay. They spiral. They beg for certainty even if you've checked the door 5 times already. Ever found yourself chasing answers to impossible questions? Not everyone with OCD deals with numbers, but for some, they matter a lot. You might avoid certain numbers because they feel bad or unlucky. Or you might feel calm only when doing things in multiples of a specific number, like brushing your teeth for exactly 24 strokes. To others, this might seem irrational. But for someone living it, these numbers carry real emotional weight. Do certain numbers ever make you feel uneasy for no obvious reason? Here's a big one: hyperresponsibility. You see a banana peel on the sidewalk and think, if someone slips and falls, it's my fault. Even if you didn't drop it. Even if it's not your job to pick it up. This kind of thinking can spiral into excessive guilt or compulsive behaviors, like apologizing constantly, checking in with people obsessively, or overplanning everything. Ever felt like you're to blame for something completely out of your control? Imagine trying to concentrate, but there's a ticking clock, a dripping faucet, or someone's inconsistent typing nearby. For most, it's annoying. For someone with OCD, it's torturous. These little sounds can take over the brain, amplify anxiety, and trigger an overwhelming urge to stop the sound now, because the lack of control is unbearable. Ever felt your brain screaming because of a sound others barely notice? You hear someone say, "You know what I mean," or "It's fine, I guess." And suddenly, you're spiraling. What did they mean? Are they upset? Did I do something wrong? OCD doesn't handle ambiguity well. It wants everything to be clear, certain, and confirmed, so when someone speaks vaguely, it opens the door to endless rumination. Ever replayed a simple conversation in your head for hours? Some people with OCD are extra sensitive to physical sensations. A smell that feels unclean, a lotion that leaves a weird texture, or even certain clothing fabrics can trigger distress. The brain interprets this as a contamination threat, even if nothing is actually wrong. This can lead to washing, avoiding, or changing clothes repeatedly just to feel clean or normal again. Ever felt the need to shower again because something didn't feel quite right? You always start your day with a certain routine. Wake up, drink water, make the bed, same order, every time. But today, you forgot the water. And suddenly, your brain says, "This day is ruined." People with OCD often develop personal rituals that help them feel safe. Disrupting them can create a snowball effect of discomfort and anxiety. Ever felt like something bad might happen just because your routine was slightly off? Perfectionism isn't always about being organized. Sometimes, it's invisible. Rewriting the same social media post 10 times, not because it looks messy, but because it might be misunderstood. Deleting a text because one emoji felt wrong. Editing and re-editing until your brain finally gives you the green light to post. This kind of perfectionism isn't about showing off. It's about easing the anxiety that something terrible might happen if it's not perfect. Ever second-guessed your words so much you just gave up and deleted everything? You're having a chill day, and then out of nowhere, a random memory pops up. That awkward thing you said 5 years ago. And it won't go away. OCD doesn't always need the present moment to panic. Sometimes it clings to the past. It replays moments that felt shameful, cringy, or unresolved over and over. And you're left obsessing, feeling guilty, or needing to make it right in your mind. Ever felt trapped by a memory that refuses to leave you alone? Recognizing these small triggers is a powerful first step. But what can we do about them? Start by keeping a trigger journal. Write down what happened, how it made you feel, and what you did. These small notes will help you notice patterns and take back some control. Try sitting with discomfort too. Let that notification stay unread. Let the crooked picture frame be crooked. Breathe through the urge and see what happens when you don't act on it. It's hard, but it's practice. Speak to yourself kindly. When the anxiety creeps in, pause and say, "I'm feeling uneasy, and that's okay. I don't need to fix this right now." And most importantly, talk to someone. Whether it's a therapist, a friend, or an online support group, sharing your experience helps release that build-up pressure. Which of these feels most doable for you today? So many of these small triggers go unnoticed by others, but not by you. If you live with OCD, your brain is constantly scanning, analyzing, and reacting. And that's exhausting. But there is hope. Every moment of awareness is a step forward. Every pause, every deep breath, every time you sit with discomfort instead of running from it, that's healing in progress. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your story. Because the more we talk about this, the more we remind each other that we're not weird or broken, we're human. And if you ever feel like it's too much, please reach out for help. Therapy, support groups, or just someone who listens, these can be life-changing. Take care of your mind, your body, and your heart. You're doing better than you think. And I'm so glad you're here. See you next time.